Welcome to the Thunder Hour Podcast, hosted by Treh Hamilton and produced by Leif, Dietrich.
Alright, this is Thunder Hour, Episode 1, the debut of our brand new podcast based upon and covering the Western Ontario Super Hockey League's Tillsonburg Thunder. I am Treh Hamilton, and I'm pleased to be joined alongside my partner in crime, Leif Dietrich. This is an honor, and I'm excited to get this thing going, get the show on the road, so to speak. And it all starts here tonight, so we just wanted to kind of apologize to some fans that were expecting the show to come out last week. We had some technical issues. Blame that one on the producer. I just talk, he produces. Things happen, but you know what? All is well that ends well, obviously. And this is going to be a really good show. We're going to break everything down. We're going to kind of do the same thing we were planning on doing last week, but we're just going to kind of start fresh from where we are today. So we're going to start off with introductions. For those of you who are diehard Tillsonburg fans, you know me already. I'm Treh Hamilton. I am your new play-by-play announcer for the Thunder. I am formerly known as Drummer Boy amongst the Thunder community. And I was that guy that was at the road games that was called a loser by fans in Strathroy and Tilbury, but I didn't care because I was just there to cheer on my team. So that's me. I'm taking over the role of Gavin Michaels as the play-by-play announcer for the Thunder. I'm really honored and excited for this opportunity. And I mean, the opportunity presented itself, and me and my friend Leif jumped on it. So let's get over to him and ask him to introduce yourself. Leif, go ahead.
My name is Leif Dietrich. I will be the producer of the Thunder Hour podcast, along with Treh Hamilton over here. Excited to be part of this. My role with the team, as you could say, is just producer and possibly color commentary with you while you do play-by-play, potentially. Don't know yet, but that's basically my role. I'm basically his little brother.
Yeah.
At this point.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Yeah. Me and Leif kind of fell in love with the Thunder together. So the story with the Thunder for myself, last year my dad and I were just hanging out on a Saturday night, and we saw the ad on, I think it was Facebook, and then the bulletin board in Tillsonburg saying, oh, there's a hockey team in Tillsonburg called the Thunder. You should come check it out. So we were like, you know what? Why not? Let's go check it out. We didn't know what we were walking into. We didn't know what to expect. They were playing Strathroy that night, and it was the first Thunder game I'd ever watched, and it was amazing. I fell in love with it right away. The skill level of the game was great. The players, all professional. They held themselves to a standard, and coaching-wise, it seemed like it was a really well-coached game of hockey. So Dad and I basically fell in love with the Thunder from that day on. We didn't miss another game for the rest of the year that we were able to make, obviously. Work sometimes gets in the way of things, but, you got to earn a living. But I was able to introduce Leif to the Thunder a couple of weeks later. He started coming out, and the two of us basically just went from there. We both fell in love with the team, as I said. Just having that camaraderie and being close to the scenes of a hockey team, a pro hockey team in your town, and meeting guys that played AHL and ECHL and OHL and DEL, and it was an incredible feeling. So just kind of explain yourself, Leif, on how your relationship with the Thunder, like how you kind of came to become a fan of the team.
Well, actually, funny story is that me and him used to go to OHL games, and instead of going to an OHL game the one night, Trey's like, let's just drive to Tilbury. I've been seeing this team. It's called the Tillsonburg Thunder. I know you're from Woodstock, so you might not like them, but let's show up. And we did. And honestly, I fell in love with Matthew Sagarot. I'm not even going to lie.
Yep. He
is such a good goalie, and the whole team, it was so fun to watch. It was like, I think they lost 8-6, but there was fights, there's big hits, and I'm like, this is honestly better than the NHL. And sometimes it really is. It's great hockey. I love this game.
Absolutely. I'm really glad to have introduced you to it, and that's a big thing for me was that I obviously love the NHL. Everybody does. If you're a hockey fan, you have an NHL team. And even if you're not just a fan of a team.
Or named after them.
Yeah, or named after named after an NHL team. One thing that we all do is appreciate the game at the highest level. And for some of us, being close to Toronto and Detroit, and for me, I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan. So, yeah, boo-hoo, I know it sucks. We suck. Make fun of me all you want. But I wanted to make that known to the players that, you know what, my NHL team sucks so bad. I had nothing to do on a Saturday night. I'd rather come out and watch you guys because the guys are tight-knit. Like I said, the game is played crisply, and although, yeah, it's not the exact skill level of the NHL, I find that the odds and ends and the bounces and the differences in arenas and stuff like that, it makes it an entertaining product to watch. And you can, in Tillsonburg, fortunately for yourself, we have an NHL-style half bowl, and you can sit and get a great view of the game from anywhere in the arena. So, as he's saying, it's a great way to watch the game. We're both really proud to be part of the team, and hopefully that kind of covers the welcome that we were looking for. Hopefully you guys feel free, come to us at the games, on the road, wherever. Come up, say hi, give us suggestions. We're going to be dropping, we have an X handle, so our Twitter, whatever you want to call it now. We're going to be dropping some information for emails, P.O. boxes, things like that for people that are going to be interested in, relaying their own topics that they want to talk about, or giving us pointers, or just asking questions. We're going to be looking at maybe doing a fan mailbag as this goes. Of course, this is episode 1, so things are still getting ironed out. But eventually we're going to look to do a fan time where we might even do a Zoom call with fans and get them to give their input on the team. We're not going to be as good as Sportsnet 590, the fan. Like we're not Blair and Barker, even though I'd be more like Barker and he'd be more like Blair. But at the end of the day, we're going to do our best to make this fan first. And we definitely want the guys, the players, the organizations to enjoy this podcast as well. Yeah. And so that kind of sums up who we are, what we're about. And so let's kind of move forward here, Leif. Let's talk about last season as much as we don't want to. The 2022-23 Thunder, although we were only there for half the season, let's break down how the season went, regular season wise, postseason, and then ultimately the championship, losing in 4 to Stratford. So,
I don't have the record on hand.
Yeah,
the regular season record.
Yeah, so last year regular season, I remember they started out 11-1.
Right.
And that's when I kind of started to watch them, was around the 9-1 point. It was going smoothly. Obviously, Sags was an animal. I mean, he always says Sags is a monster in there. So the 11-1 start, obviously, you get off to a start like that, people are going to expect big things.
Yeah.
And then they went through this cold spell. They started to fall apart. I think organizationally, they knew that some changes had to be made, and that's ultimately the decision they made. They cleaned house with the coaching staff. Things started to change. So ultimately, obviously, it wasn't the perfect regular season. They weren't 19-4 like Tilbury, but you know what? They still had a good regular season. They ended up finishing in the 4th spot in the standings. So you had Tilbury at first. I believe they were 19-4. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it would have been Elora 2nd, Stratford 3rd, and then Tillsburg 4th. And then that was kind of, in this league, I've discovered just from obviously, the Western League's obviously fairly brand new. But you can kind of tell there's a difference between the top 4 teams and the bottom 4 teams, obviously, in any league. And this team's top 4 is big. Yeah. So they went to the postseason. They opened up the postseason against Strathroy. They ended up beating them 3-1 in a best-of-5 series. Things went, as good as can be. It was exciting right from the start. Jake Brown, Game 1, overtime winner, 3-3 tie. I have the video still on I made a reel on Instagram and Facebook for that one because that was awesome.
Still there, isn't it?
It's still there, so go check it out. That's the great voice of Gavin Michaels on that call, too, who we'll be talking about a little bit later on. But, so they take care of Strathroy as expected, right?
Yeah.
Strathroy was not on their level, although they had a couple very good players.
Yeah.
I remember Brandon Buck being one of them, where he's a guy where when he's on the ice, you think, okay, big things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they took care of business, and then that's kind of when we got really intensely into the Thunder, was the 2nd series.
Oh, yeah.
Against the Tilbury Bluebirds. So Tilbury, the 1 seed, Tillsburg, the 4 seed. Elora the 2 seed, Stratford the 3 seed. It was a lot of people predicted it to be Stratford and Tilbury at that point. I don't think anybody foresaw Petrie's Fighting Irish sweeping Elora, but ultimately they got the revenge that they deserved because they were swept the year before in the semifinal. And then Tillsonburg versus Tilbury, and there were some Tilbury fans and some groups, and I remember after game 1 they said, this is going to be a short series. It's going to be short and quick. You were there, you saw it, and I mean, both of us had this perspective of, I just hope they win a couple of games. Because Tilbury looked strong.
Yeah, they looked so strong.
They were fast, physical.
They had 6 number 2.
Yeah, they were definitely getting to Sagarot, so it didn't look great. So we go down 3-0. And we decide, you know what? Let's go to game 4.
In Tilbury, by the way.
No, game 4 was in Tillsonburg. It was game 5 that we ended up shipping up to. Game 4 was the game where all the incident in the corner and the McQueen cross-check and
Right.
Tillsonburg had to fight for every second of that game just to stay in it. They ultimately get the winner late, and then I believe it was Redbury iced it with the empty netter. It was crazy, and then there was a fight at the end, and everything exploded, and I knew from that moment on we were going to have a series. And then we drove down to Tilbury game 5 and 7, and it was the same thing. Game 5, Razor's in net. We just don't know what to expect, and Razor made the save of a lifetime in game 5, this huge glove stop. Matt Weston with a beautiful one-timer in front of the net. Like, that game just couldn't have went any better. Jake Brown, JB, this is his jersey, game worn, series worn from that Tilbury series. That's why I had to get this thing. 21, absolute legend for Tillsonburg. I don't know if you're going to be back, buddy, but you're one of the best hockey players I've watched play when it comes to that clutch gene. Those guys took that game over, and after game 5, I think everybody in Tilbury started to get a little bit nervous. And then they come to Tillsonburg in game 6, and their goaltender, you remember, Ryan Polidori, pulls something. Doesn't look good. Andrew Tapsel, absolute sauce, piece, on the tape. Jake Brown, go figure, overtime winner. We're going to game 7. Polidori's shaken up. They come into game 7, and it just falls apart for Tilbury right away. Polidori gave up 4 goals in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Might have been 3.
And
Maybe it was 4.
No, you're right. It was 3 because then the backup, Swan Marion, I think his name is, he came in.
What a game by
and
him.
he stood on his head. Tillsonburg could have won that game 8-9-0, honestly, just by the momentum. He came in, held them in there. Tilbury slowly inched their way back into the game, and it ended up coming down to Tilbury tying with 2.5 minutes left, and everybody that was there that was a Tillsonburg fan kind of just went, ugh. All this.
I remember that.
Yeah, you believed. I was having my doubts, but
I believed.
Right from the start, this guy believed. But, I believe it was Cravatin tied it with, as I said, 2.5 minutes left, and we both kind of looked at each other, and you know what we said? If it goes to overtime, it's going to be it's going to be the greatest series ever.
Yeah.
And it still ended up being the greatest series ever. But Jake Brown, as I said, attaboy JB, got a beautiful outlet pass for Matt Weston. Went in, undressed the whole team, and buried the game winner with 45 seconds left. Stone cold. This guy has ice in his veins. He does not care. He's doing the D'Angelo Russell. He's a baller, and he proved it to us that series. Again, JB, another huge reason why we fell in love with the team, just that clutch factor. And obviously that kind of recaps that. And then we went to the championship, and I know for you Thunder fans that are big fans, this is all just repetitive, but we figured we'd have to just recap it for those of you who are new to the team, because there were a lot of people that came and joined.
They got swept.
Yeah, they got swept. Stratford, heck of a team. Jamie Petrie put together a great team last year, and as I said with Andrew Rogers on his podcast, they look to be pretty good again this year. So just a little spoiler on Raji's podcast, I predicted Tillsonburg against Stratford in the final this year. Off the record, it wasn't live recorded, just a little conversation we had. I want to see a rematch from last year because Stratford beat the brakes off of us. In terms of, it was a close series after game 1, but it just really wasn't close, if you feel me, right? Like, you weren't there to witness it. Leif was on a road trip himself, so I had to fill him in on everything. Don't hang your head over there, buddy. But yeah, it was I think, like I said to Raji, we rode this high of the Tilbury series.
Yeah.
And then game 1 in Stratford, all the we packed that barn with Tilsburg fans. We were loud, we were passionate. Every bounce went Stratford's way. Every little intricate detail of the game of hockey that is usually a 50-50 situation was 100%. And that happens sometimes, right? So right from the start, it just didn't go well. Ultimately, Stratford obviously walked away with the 4-game sweep. And you know what? It is what it is. That's how last season ended. So now we're gonna kind of rest that case there. That's last year. We have new players, new coaches, new management, all these things. Well, not new management, sorry, because Bill Ryan is not going anywhere.
Same goalie.
Got Sags back. That's a big thing. But
We'll talk about that later.
yeah, we'll be on to that in a minute. But yeah, that kind of sums up the 2022-23 Thunder. And for those of you who didn't know, or those of you who did know and just wanted to hear a recap, hope you enjoyed the way that we laid it out for you in about 10 minutes there, because it was a tough season. It was a good regular season, good first playoff series, great second playoff series, and then obviously to be swept and lose on your home ice again in the championship, that was tough. But you know what? We got to move forward, and I think this year's gonna be different. Leif, what do you think of that?
I do too. It's gonna be a good year this year. I'm very confident in our team this year with the new signings, the new coaches, and obviously having our goalie back, best in the league.
Yep.
Shout out Sags.
Yep.
But genuinely, it's gonna be good.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. So we'll just kind of overview the statistical leaders from last year, and I do apologize to viewers. We're just working with OBS kind of for the first time in terms of a podcast recording. We've used it for streaming video games and things like that, but so we're gonna have graphics and we're gonna have our own logo and things like that, but that's gonna come in the future. We're just really busy guys right now. I work 3 jobs, he works a couple jobs, we're busy, it happens. So we're just gonna wait for that to all settle in. We only have 1 microphone right now too, so things are gonna get better. Just bear with us, be patient. Yeah, so we're gonna have graphics at the bottom. Raji's done a great job with OBS. He's gonna probably give me a few pointers. We're gonna have him on as well in the near future. But yeah, so just bear with us. Let's transition over and talk about the statistical leaders from last year. Stats from 2022-23 Thunder. Kicking it off, leading the Thunder in goals.
Everyone likes goals. Everyone loves goals.
Everybody loves goals. That's why everybody loves.
I love goals.
Braden Roberts, 17 goals in 21 games. Roberts was a stud all season. He showed up when he needed to in the postseason. I really enjoy Roberts. He's a really good guy. He's always got a smile on his face. But at the same time, he's got that serious smile, if you know what I mean. Heck of a hockey player. Playing with McQueen definitely was an amazing thing for him last year. Of course, Robert's not on the official roster yet. We don't know until the rosters are finalized. We have elite prospects open with a list of guys we do know will be playing. Roberts is currently not on that list, so we'll keep you updated. But there is a guy on that list that is on this list as well. He led the Thunder in assists and overall points with 26 assists and 41 points in 22 games played. Mr. Jamie McQueen, a.k.a. Lightning McQueen. That's why he wears number 95. He is a stud. I absolutely love watching him play the game. And, he showed us last year why he was in the American Hockey League and a stud in the DEL, because he was a dominant force, and he showed up every game. He was there. He did his job. And you know what? I respect that so much. So.
Yeah, I do too.
And then save percentage-wise, why don't you break it down, Leif? Who led us in save percentage last year? It's obvious.
Sagarat with a 916 and only 16 starts, because where'd he go? He went
on a road trip last year.
Yeah,
he was in Sweden.
And
he was a little bit banged up, so
cold spell happened.
Yeah.
Tosenberg. So
it happens.
Happens.
But hopefully, if Sags wants to take a vacation this year, it's
be
down
after the season.
Oh, we love you, Sags. Sagarat 916 save percentage in 16 starts. Sorry, a lot of 16s here.
Also,
Sags was dominant.
Also facing like 40 shots a game too.
Yeah.
Like,
it's incredible. If you're seeing guys posting 900 save percentages in this league, it's a special thing. And Sags was near a 920 save percentage. That's why we rave about him, because the numbers back up what we're talking about. So he's part of the reason why we fell in love with the Thunder. And as I said, he had a great season last year, 9-16. As I said, he won us a majority of our games. So I also apologize for my partner drinking his Slurpee. If you guys can hear that, that's all on him.
Oh, my bad.
We're not even sponsored, bro. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
I'm hiding mine behind the PC.
Oh, you know, that's
wrong
right,
way.
that's right. There we go.
Yeah, now we're good.
There we go.
All right, so that breaks down the statistical leaders from last year.
Yeah, stat leaders, because we don't like plus minus nerds.
Yeah, no. Even though we were
Absolutely
asked,
not.
even though we were asked to cover plus minus.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ebsy,
I'm getting.
forgive this guy. He can do all the plus minus and the face-off numbers. I'll be busy in the booth.
Actually, I can.
All right, that's a personal shout-out to Ebsy. New head coach of the Thunder, Sean Ebden. Great guy. He's a planned guest in the very near future as well to the podcast. So, yeah.
So many planned guests.
That was kind of a breakdown of last year's stats. So, let's kind of look at our signings from this year. So, we've been over this once. Unfortunately, as we said, we had some issues.
Audio issues.
That was his fault.
By fault.
But we got it figured out. We're going to be good this time around. This guy. So, we'll start it off with defensive signings. We re-signed a guy who'd been with the Thunder from 2019 to 2021. Unfortunately, he played for our biggest rival last year in the Tilbury Bluebirds. But we'd like to welcome back Anthony Geldart. Welcome back, Tony. Former Brock Badger, as I said, and a member of the Thunder for 2019-2021 through that period. We saw him in the preseason game, which we'll break down in a minute here. Heck of a hockey player, makes the smart play. He's definitely, when he was in his own zone in that preseason game, I was never worried. He seemed to make that smart chip off the glass or quick outlet pass. Never played the puck up the middle, which some guys have issues with. He didn't seem to have those issues. So I get it. It was one preseason game. But, yeah, we're really happy to welcome back Anthony. And also, we were made aware by Bill Ryan that our second listed member here, former Markham Royal, St. Thomas Star, Tyler Alexander, actually has received a university hockey offer. So congrats to Tyler. Hopefully you can come play with the Thunder in the near future. But best of luck this year. We're really hoping to see you in the future. But yes, Tyler Alexander will no longer be a member of the Thunder for now. We'll see how things go after the university hockey season. But again, another huge signing, and it shows the interest that people have in this league and players have in signing with Tilsburg. So, but a guy who is going to play for us, who we got the honor of watching again for a preseason matchup with Alveston, Jamie Forsland, the big 6'6" defenseman. He played for the Battalion in North Bay. In the OHL, he played for the Birmingham Bulls, to the SPHL, and he played for the Caledonia Corvairs. Jamie just looked smooth. Like, that's the best way I could describe it. For those of you who were at the game, he was number 7 on defense, the big guy. I mean, let's just put it that way. Jamie looked smooth, crisp, head up all the time.
Yeah.
Very, like, as a really good defenseman, you're expecting to see a guy have his eyes on the play at all times, right? And he was zoned in. We're talking preseason here. So, warm welcome to Jamie Forsland. As I said, 6'6", big guy. Happy to have you on board. But here's the main guy we wanted to talk about, because I didn't know what number he was wearing.
But we found out pretty quickly.
Brandon Kudo. Kudos to him.
Yes, kudos.
We're going to have to actually talk to you, Brandon, and get your proper pronunciation, because I've heard many different ways it's pronounced from guys.
We're going to give you a nickname.
We're going to get, probably Cootsie, if that works. I mean, something like that. We'll get the personal rundown.
Whatever the guys call him.
But oh my goodness, Brandon was all over the ice. He was signed over from the Eastern Ontario Super Hockey League's Tweed Oil Kings. And when we give you these numbers, you guys are going to say, what? And we're not joking. 29 goals, 27 assists in 20 games played. That's 56 points in 20 games played for Tweed. And after watching him in the preseason, it makes sense. So we are super excited to see him on board. Just based on that first game, man, he is a game changer. Like,
he really is. Every time he was on the ice, literally every time he was on the ice, it was unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no homo, I couldn't take my eyes off you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You were that good.
Yeah. He was. Honestly. Brandon was shifty, quick, explosive. He played on a line with Gus Ford, another Tillsonburg, Ontario legend. Best of luck, Gus, wherever you're headed this year. Gus plays the preseason with the Thunder every year. And he was on a line with Brandon. I think they just wanted to see that skill matchup, obviously. And when those guys were on the ice, and they were also, I believe they were on a line with Spencer Hutchison, who is a new signing we'll talk about in a minute. He's not in our notes, but he's a former London Knight. Heck of a hockey player himself.
That's everything you need to know.
Exactly. But yeah, Brandon played with Gus, and the two of them just instantly meshed. The passing was crisp. I just loved every second of it. And Brandon, warm welcome. You're going to be a stud. We're really looking forward to seeing you play this year. And yeah, again, welcome on board the Thunder family. I feel like you're going to fit in really well with this organization. So that's Brandon Quoto. And his buddy Sheldon Thompson also signed with the Thunder.
Did he play?
Sheldon, I do not believe Sheldon played in the game. I cannot remember. I don't think he was out there. If he was, I'd have to recheck the stat sheet, but I don't think he played. He was also signed from Tweed. Big skilled winger. He had 9 goals, 27 assists in 17 games. So 36 points in 17 games. Another absolute stud. What more can you ask for?
Video game numbers.
Yeah, Bill Ryan put together a great offseason. I have a good feeling things are really going to work out for the Thunder this year.
Yes.
Yeah, Sheldon, welcome on board again. I said 36 points, 17 games. That speaks enough right there. He's going to add a lot of skill and grit to this team. Also, based on our elite prospect roster, as long as everything's accurate, we have to welcome back. Warm welcome, Justin Abraham. He played preseason game. Justin's an absolute stud. We're really excited to have you back. He's also a guy that if you see him out of the hockey uniform, you don't want to mess with him. He's a big dude. If he punched you in the face, you'd probably wake up next week. Warm welcome back to Justin Abraham. I saw you jumping up in the play a couple times too, Abes. So, are we going to see a little bit more offense out of you this year? I can't wait to see that. Because if a guy tries to hit you, you're just going to knock him over. So.
True.
So welcome back to Justin Abraham. Also warm welcome to Brandon Barletta, number 5, double B we called him, me and Dad last year. Barletta, again, skilled defenseman, puck moving, big guy, head up, head on a swivel, can quarterback a power play. Great re-signing. And also a huge welcome back to Memorial Cup champion, number 88, London, Ontario's very own Ryan Martinelli. We are super excited to see you back on the roster. He made a huge difference. Like when Martz was out there in that Stratford series, dude, like I'm not joking. When Martz was on the ice, I felt safe. When he was off the ice, I was like, and that's no diss to any of the other players on this team.
Yeah.
But Martz is a difference maker. He's calm, he has presence, and when he's in the zone, so to speak, defensively, you're not getting anything by him. His stick is active. He's knocking pucks down. He's blocking shots, and I mean, he's exactly what you need out of a leader on that back end. And obviously with the former point system that the Western Ontario League had, it was difficult to dress everybody because you only had X number of points and certain leagues equaled certain point totals. And Martz wasn't able to play all the time because of that, but they have fortunately readjusted the point system. We'll talk to Andrew Rogers when he comes on, and we might even have Bill and Jamie on a show together to discuss some of the changes before the season starts or even in the early season. We'll just have to see how scheduling goes. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be able to have a lot more talent dressed night by night as long as guys are showing up. I think it's going to be good. So also a huge welcome back to the goaltender number 35, Matt Sagrot. Saggy. I'll be Saggy. So Sags, we're really happy to have you back, man. As Leif and I have already told you in person many times, huge inspiration to us. We're both goalies, but we're mediocre at best, beer league goalies. So to come in and watch you and see how calm you are and composed, it's huge to have you out there, man. And obviously, with the unfortunate injury to Jesse Raymond, who, by the way, is on the fast track. Can't wait to talk about that, too.
Yeah, that's unreal.
But having you out there, Sags, it definitely gives us a little bit more confidence. Matt Sagrot, best goalie in the league, hands down. Sorry, Polidori, but I definitely would take Sags over you any day of the week. So,
I mean, I would too.
I would every day of the
too.
week. Sags, welcome back. Let's get that save percentage from 916 to 925, and we're good. Also, Jesse Raymond is signed, but he's injured, so he'll be on kind of an injury list. He injured his foot in the off season, had to get surgery. We saw him at the game. He's walking, he's talking, he's feeling good, but he's just not obviously quite semi-pro hockey ready to play. So,
but was on the ice with the tryouts, I believe.
yes, he did try to go up for a skate. He's got his skates back on. He's feeling good, but still a couple months away. And when he does come back, when those two are in the zone, best goaltending tandem in the league, hands down.
Yeah.
So
Good luck.
hopefully we can get everything in order, because the backup goaltending situation is still kind of undecided in Tilsonburg.
Yeah, we don't know. We might have figured out who they might sign, but we have to be very hush about it.
Yeah.
So we cannot mention anything.
Yeah, we got our eyes open on a few guys. Bill's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Bill always does. So
Yeah, always does.
we'll keep you guys posted as we know. We were supposed to have Bill on the show tonight, but unfortunately, just scheduling issues and, as I said, our technical issues from last week. So what we're going to do with this show, we're going to publish this and just us two talking.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the YouTube video as well. And that's going to go out. And then separately, we're going to do a 1 hour-ish interview we're going to do Bill Ryan, general manager and senior executive of the Western Ontario Hockey League, Western Ontario Super Hockey League, excuse me.
Yep.
And we're also looking to have president of hockey operations and the owner of the Tilsonburg Thunder, Mike Hawley, come and join us actually right in studio. He wants to come live on the show. So that's going to be coming up this next week, but just bear with us. That's going to be the outline of the show. We're going to have roughly 40-minute talking between the two of us, breaking down stats, games, things like that. And then about 20-minute, half-hour conversation with a player, exec, coach, things like that. So that's kind of just to give you a rundown. Sorry it's in the middle of the show. We're not very structured yet. We're still figuring this all out. But yeah, that's going to be the idea of how this is going to run. And I have a pretty good feeling it's going to go smooth. I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, speaking about games, we want to talk about the preseason games.
Yes, we do. That's our next topic.
We do.
That's our next topic here.
Big transition, real quick.
Whoa. Alvidston, the Killer Bees, came to town. It was a much anticipated matchup. The two of us had never seen Alvidston play before, so it was cool to see that. And I could definitely say the game went as a preseason game should. It was a lot of offense, a lot of guys pushing really hard because it was preseason. They're trying to earn spots. A lot of guys you might not see playing on this team that might be playing for other teams. So, like I said, Gus Ford was out there. Gus is probably the best hockey player to ever come from Tilsonburg, because Gregory Campbell won't admit he's from Tilsonburg, but still. Gus is a heck of a hockey player. ECHL, SPHL, he said SPHL, scoring record last year. Heck of a hockey player. So he came out, but we're not going to see him play for the Thunder this year. He's down south, right? So what I expected to see out of that game was the guys we signed that were there. I wanted to see what they could bring to the table, kind of put a face to the name.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to just see how we were responding, penalty kill, power play, early on. Because Ebden, great coach. He's going to be very focused on face-offs, power play, penalty kill. Special teams and face-offs win you games. The skill can only take you so far.
Exactly.
So, from what I saw, personally, I'll give you my rundown and then you can go ahead. I liked what I saw. Offensively, this team scores goals. We know that. Look at last season. This team was absolutely incredible last year when it came to the offense. They were able to turn it on, and we were very, very rarely held to minimal offense. So I really liked what I saw out of the preseason squad, but at the same time, it's still preseason, so a lot of the guys that you're going to see on this roster weren't there. So I like the flow of the game. I think that the guys are still just getting in the rhythm of things, but in terms of if I think they're going to be ready for our season opener, I do. Yeah. I think that they're going to be ready. I think the guys who played that are a part of this team on a full-time basis are going to be ready to go. And other guys who weren't there, I know and I trust they're practicing. They're playing pickup. They're out at their beer leagues and stuff, just getting their legs under them. And, overall, though, I liked the goaltending performance from Sagrot. Again, he just held his own in there. Owen Stevenson came in, gave up a few goals, but he still made some good stops. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Elviston poured it onto him. I don't know if it was a strategic thing or whatever, but Elviston had like 25 shots in the third period. So Owen did give up a couple goals, but I think the poise of Owen has been at question at times about is he ready to be a Western Ontario Super Hockey League goalie. I don't know if I'd count on that. So that's kind of the issue we're having with. One thing is that without having a true set in stone backup yet, if Sagrat goes down, are you going to count on Owen being in there against teams like Tilbury, Stratford, Elora, Strathroy, even Petrolia as a good team? So,
possibly Woodstock too.
Yeah, Woodstock sucks. Anyway, sorry, Zerzy, I don't want to piss you off too much, buddy. But no.
Also, Woodstock, Ontario studio.
That is true. Just in case I didn't mention it, we are filming live from Woodstock, Ontario.
Ontario.
Actually, we are 1 block away from Reeves Community Complex where the Lakers play their home games. So,
actually, the Vets do play tonight too.
Yeah, the Vets are going to be in
Actually, the
town,
Vets have been insane this year.
Hey, no junior C talk right now.
Talking about backups.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Pelk, by the way.
I heard there's a goaltender who's from Tilsonburg that plays for the Vets.
He's from Tilsonburg.
Hey, Bill, do your thing.
I'm not going to lie. I looked at his stats last year. I made fun of him. I watched one game last year. Anyway, sidetrack. He gave up 7 goals against Tavistock, got pulled instantly. Anyway, this year, insane. Anyway, back to the show.
Let's make sure we get Balk on board for the Thunder, Bill. Back to the conversation of the Elviston preseason game. So I liked the way that Sagrat played. I liked the way that things flowed. The penalty kill is a little questionable, but MZ knows that's going to come with time.
I didn't like some of the penalty calls, but that wasn't really Tilsonburg.
And ultimately...
That was Zebras.
Yeah, well, the officiating is going to be tough, right? In preseason, it's going to happen. They're still getting used to everything, so...
It's always rough.
Yeah, it is. It's preseason, too, so...
Especially with Tilsonburg.
Yeah. Depending on who comes out to ref, yeah. We know a couple guys that won't be, but anyway, that's beside the point. Good game. Good game from Tilsonburg. I liked the offense. I liked the, put the foot on the throat, foot on the gas, even though it's just preseason. And let's talk about the crowd. Everybody on the team that I talked to was fired up deep down inside. They all told me the same thing. The crowd was electric. For a preseason game, we had 8-year-old kids starting a Let's Go Thunder chant.
That's usually me and him.
Yeah, usually we're the ones that kind of started that, and now we got young kids that are just fired up and happy to be there starting Let's Go Thunder chants in the preseason. This goes to show the energy that we brought is paying off. And guys, bring the noise, bring the people. October 7th, home opener against Petrolia, old rival of this team. I want to pack that barn. Let's go show these guys why we're the best fan base in the league. And I'll be calling the game from the booth. He's probably going to be down in the seats. Come touch base with him. My dad's going to be at the games with the drum. We're going to get the crowd going. We got a mascot. We got everything figured out. So I am super excited. But yeah, that's kind of my assessment of the game. Well played. Penalty kill a little bit rough. Backup goaltending situation questionable. But they got the win. The offense looked good. And the crowd was electric. So and Sagrat was great. So how did you see the game?
I saw it pretty good. I'm pretty sure we went up early, if I'm not mistaken. We had a couple breakaways too. Good breakout passes by our defenseman, so I don't mind that. Want to touch on Forsling, by the way. Those both penalties, not your fault. And I really like his stick work, and his eyes moving all the time. So there's that. Sags played amazing. That last goal shouldn't have counted. It's BS.
I heard the buzzer.
I heard the buzzer too. Anyway, Steven said, they're in a tough situation. I'm not going to lie. They might have had your number or something. That said, just take shots on this kid. Who knows? Anyway, it's besides the point. Still got the win. Again, what he said, penalty kill wasn't the strongest, but that's okay. It's preseason. Offense was there, though. And Kuto was unreal.
Yeah, Brandon Kudo, sorry.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm going to make sure we pronounce it.
We're going to come talk to you after game 1 or before game 1 because I'm going to be in the booth, so calling the game. So, yeah, Brandon was awesome. Just so quick, electric. He was just where he needed to be every time they needed him to be there. And Also, though, I mean, Spencer Hutchison, we saw him, we said, who's this guy? He's wearing 21.
Yeah.
Well, 21 is a very important number to us as Thunder fans.
Right.
But Spencer came out and he showed us that he deserves to wear 21 as well. He was excellent.
Did he have a couple, or was it just one time?
Yeah, he had a couple.
Yeah.
And he was on that line with Gus Ford and Brandon Quoto, and just the chemistry those guys had in one game. I mean, you're playing a preseason game, and those guys were electric. So, Spencer, welcome to the team. Welcome to the organization. Before we go make our predictions on the month to come, just going to run through his elite prospects quick before I forget. Got a lot going on. Kind of did this last minute. But, yeah, he was the captain of the St. Thomas Stars in Junior B in the GOJHL, which is a tough league. It's a very competitive Junior B hockey league.
Very.
So we played junior nights, triple A in U16 and 18, put up great numbers. Played for the Nationals, and there goes the laptop dying right in front of me, which is kind of funny. But I know he got some time with the Knights, preseason and regular season. Very limited action, but ultimately ended up becoming the captain of the St. Thomas Stars. And remind me to plug in my laptop next time. But he's a great hockey player. He showed it. I'm getting booed already. He showed it. He's a great hockey player. Great signing. I really like the move. So that kind of breaks it down for the preseason game. I mean, new signings look good. Like I said, penalty kill a little but you know what? I'm happy to see where the season's going to take us. So let's get into it. Let's look at the notes and let's look at the schedule. So here is the schedule breakdown for the opening month of the season. October 7th, your Tillsonburg Thunder are hosting the Petrolia Squires. Old rivalry. They've been they're new to our league, but members of the WOA for what felt like forever. In talking with Bill and Mike, they have this rivalry that has been established for years with Tillsonburg. Unfortunately, the last couple of years, obviously it kind of got away because they were still in the WOA, which is no longer, and Tillsonburg had made the move as a founding member of the WSHL. So, October 7th in Tillsonburg, 7:30 puck drop. That's going to be awesome. Petrolia, as I said, renewing that old rivalry. And then the 14th, we're going to start a new rivalry. And the Plattsville Lakers have made the move officially to Woodstock. They'll be playing their home games here at Reeves Community Complex. So, that's going to be, as I said, a brand new rivalry. There wasn't really much there last year between Tillsonburg and Plattsville. But this year, with it being Woodstock and Tillsonburg, you're going to have three teams in the same general vicinity with Tillsonburg, Delhi, and Woodstock. And I think those three teams are going to battle it out all season. It's going to be good, really good matchups. And I believe that's Woodstock's home opener, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah,
I think so.
Here in Woodstock, Saturday, October 14th. And then the 20th, which is a Friday, I believe, we are heading to Dunnville to welcome the Arrows to the league. The Arrows also dropped their new jerseys, new design. I like them. Sharp. Really sharp jerseys. Nice. I'm excited to see what they look like on the ice, obviously. But, yeah, Dunnville, October 20th at Dunnville. It's going to be a really good game. Again, welcoming that new team to the league. Yeah. It's going to be a tough year for them, I think. But you know what? I think overall it's still going to be a good matchup. And, you know, it's a new team, but at the end of the day, Raji said it yesterday, I said it too. You just never know. Anything can happen on any given day in this league. So, and then October 28th, the day before my birthday, your Tillsonburg Thunder make the road trip down to Tilbury to rematch with the insane semifinal reverse sweep craziness, crap talk, fighting. I mean, people talking crap in Russian and fans throwing popcorn, and it was insane. The product that the WSHL puts on the ice all came to a head in that semifinal series, and it was worth it. So,
very good.
Let's renew that rivalry. Let's get a fresh start this season. I think it'll be great. I think it's going to be a really good game, hard fought, because Tillsonburg knows what happened last year, but so does Tilbury, and they're going to be pissed off, and understandably so, because they were destined that year to host the championship, home ice advantage, and Tillsonburg came in and said, I don't think so. Yeah. So it's going to be a really good game. So that'll kind of bring us to our prediction segment, and then we're going to kind of send it off.
Transition. Woo!
Oh, wait, we don't have a soundboard yet. Sorry. So, it's time for Thunder Hour predictions. We'll get a little audio bite going at some point. I apologize again to the fans. If this feels disorganized.
Oh, it is.
We are sorry. But, as I said,
Still a good show, though.
both working multiple jobs, and we're doing our best to get this out on time.
True.
As we go, we're going to have professionally done logos, multiple microphones, multiple cameras, more than the 2 we have. These jerseys are going to be lowered. We're going to have a sign. So just bear with us. This is the debut. You got to start somewhere, and this is where we're going to start. Don't listen to this guy.
I know.
He's stupid. But so am I, so whatever. So let's go ahead. Let's make our predictions, Leif. I'm going to go first.
Yeah. I always ask you first.
Yeah, always. Well, you know what? If you didn't mess up the audio last week.
Okay. I understand.
All right. October 7th versus Petrolia. I'll go first. I think Petrolia is a better team than we thought, okay?
Yeah.
I looked at their roster. I looked at their signings. They got some absolute studs on that team. Like, this is not going to be a rollover and die kind of team. They're an established organization. This isn't a Dunnville or a Delhi that has to get a whole bunch of local junior C guys to make a team. Petrolia is established. They have guys who played OHL. They have guys that played professionally above that. They have guys that played 4 years junior A. They have a good team. So it's not going to be as easy as we think.
No,
I'm going, my final score prediction of the game, I think is going to be close. I'm going Tilsonburg 5, Petrolia 3. That's my prediction. Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess 6 for Tilsonburg and 4 for Petrolia. I think again it's gonna be a close game, but I think our offense just puts the puck in the net.
Yeah.
Like there's
Well, and our goaltending too.
Goddamn table.
Sorry for the loud boofs in the audio that's on this guy. So if you're just listening to the podcast, not watching, any tapping you're hearing or slurpy sound is Leif. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But anyway.
You know what? It's all part of the show.
It is. So he's got 6'4",
Experience.
6'4" Tilsonburg. I got 5'3" Tilsonburg. Either way, both of us are
also have
predicting.
Think of a jiggy segment where it actually shows up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll get to it, okay? Don't worry.
Come on, people. Make this guy work, okay?
I already work it off, man.
I know. Trust me, me too.
Oh, jeez.
October 14th at Woodstock. I'll go first on the prediction, Leif. Actually, why don't you? What's your prediction for Mr. Jeff Zare?
27 No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Honestly, 7-0.
7-0?
Tilsonburg. Easily. Segs, I love you. Get that shout out for me.
He said the S word. It's over. So that's it's too late. We can't erase history. It's being recorded. It's here. Everybody's going to see it, including Sags. I apologize for him using the S word. He should know better. He's a goaltender, but he's never got an S word in his life. So
must be done one tonight.
We'll see. I've seen your team on Pickup Hub. I don't know about that. October 14th at Woodstock. You're going 7-0. I'm gonna go.
Or 27.
I'm gonna go 8-2. 8-2 Tilsonburg. I think the Olympic ice. I don't know who it's gonna benefit, but I know guys like Jamie McQueen is an absolute stud, and he played European professional. Yeah, Woodstock fans, if you're watching, pack that house because we're gonna bring our people. You bring yours. We'll sit on our side. You sit on yours. As long as you guys have beer and some good nachos and some fries.
They have the beer garden.
Oh, I know.
Oh, the beer garden's so nice.
Trust me.
Please.
Pack the house.
Please.
This is the Vets on steroids. Let's pack the house. I can't wait. So I'm going 8-2. He's going 7-0. I think either way, Tilsonburg's going to put up a lot of offense. I just don't foresee Woodstock being on our level yet. I don't know if that's going to be a couple years away. But Zare knows what he's doing. He's a little bit like hard-headed. He does things his way, but I respect that about the guy. Yeah. He's a great person to hang out with. Zarzy, if you're listening. And you did a good job to take the team and relocate to a place where I feel like it's going to be successful.
Thank you.
So, thanks to Zarzy for saving us the 35 minutes of driving as well. Tilsonburg it's
a 5-minute walk for me, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, you don't even have to drive. And for Plattsville, I mean, somebody tell the Plattsville Arena staff to learn how to properly flood their ice. Because A, it's extremely tiny, and B, it looks like the fire department came out and hosed it down after you try one flood. So anyway, enough dissing on Plattsville. Congrats to the fans who are still going to come down, and thank you to the fans that will come from Plattsville to still watch the Lakers, because I've heard of many people that have been telling me that through Facebook groups and things like that. So
That's awesome.
this was a great move. Good job, Zerzi. But sorry, it's going to be 8-2 Tilsonburg or 7-0 according to the two of us.
Yep.
And feel free to tweet at us with your guys' Twitter predictions for all these games.
And you're
at
allowed
Thunder
to make
Hour
fun
Pod.
of us. You're allowed to make fun of us.
Yes, you are allowed to say whatever you
It's
want.
okay.
That's just how this is going to go.
Exactly.
We're two goofball friends that just
Exactly.
decided to make a podcast about a hockey team. So yeah, at Thunder Hour Pod on X, that's where you can tweet at us about your predictions for these games.
Also known as Twitter.
Yes, I say X because I got lots of those in my life. Nah, I'm just kidding, everybody. So do you, buddy. Stop it. You grew up in Woodstock. We know what these girls here are like. Should we cut this and go blooper?
No, we're keeping it. Anyway, Dunville.
October 20th, Friday. Okay, so seriousness back set in here.
Yep.
Dunville is going to be in a very similar situation to Delhi last year. They signed a lot of local guys, a lot of junior C players from their own Mudcat organization.
Right.
So success in this league takes a lot more than just bringing in your local guys. But that being said, this is not a diss to them.
Right.
You have to start somewhere. Look at Delhi last year. Delhi had nobody of notoriety for the most part, outside of 3 or 4 guys. Excuse me. They still got their wins, even though it was only a couple. They fought hard.
They did.
They put a competitive product on the ice, which is all the fans want to see. Because you know from that first season to the second season, there's going to be big changes no matter what. You want to establish yourself within a community, reach out, make those connections. Guys are going to leave other teams, and they're going to come to your team. So I think Dunville will be in a similar situation to Tilsonburg last year. And if you're a Dunville player or fan, use this as fuel. We're not trying to talk crap about you guys. We're just saying, after experiencing this league for ourselves, expansion is not easy in this league. You have to field a lot of guys who play junior C locally. And you're going to be playing guys that have played. We have guys in this league that have played in the NHL. This is not going to be easy, right? But any team can win any night. So ignore our predictions. That's the beauty of this league. It's very wide open. So if you get a great game from your entire roster, you could come out on top against any team in the league, right? So look, we saw Aaron beat Tilbury, and was it Tilbury? Yeah, I think Aaron beat Tilbury in a game in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And it was Plattsville. Aaron played. Plattsville gave Tilbury a tough fight. Aaron played Elora, and everybody thought they were going to upset them. It was amazing. But yeah, at the end of the day, I might have gotten that whole playoff scenario wrong right there, by the way. But my whole point is that any team can win on any given day. But October 20th in Dunville, my prediction, I'm going Tilsonburg 10, Dunville 3. Leif, go ahead with yours.
That's a lot. I'm going to one-up you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm also going 8-1.
Okay.
I'm going 8-1. Because, again, we got Sags in that. There's no way. There's just no way.
But when you foresee potentially that could be a game where if you want a guy like Owen Stevenson to be your backup or whoever the new backup is, I could foresee them starting them against that team because it's a new team, right? It's an expansion team, right. So you just never know.
That's the point.
So I got 11. What did I even say? I honestly forgot.
10-3.
10-3. Thank you. I'm like, wait, I didn't say 11. I'm like, no. 10-3 Tilsonburg.
And the fun.
You're going 8-1. Yeah. So that'll be our prediction. And the reason why I'm making that prediction personally is I talked about it with Rogers last night on his podcast. What I want to see from the Thunder is a realization of reality. So Petrolia, that's going to be a tough matchup. They're not an easy team. They're a good competitive team in the WOAA. They're going to make that transition. It's their first game on the road in Tilsonburg. They're going to be fired up. What I want to see Tilsonburg establish a forecheck against them, try to carry that into the next 2 games, beat the crap out of Woodstock and Dunville, or as we would say, just execute on game plans, get pucks in deep, all that hockey cliche stuff. Yeah, exactly. Because October 28th is where crap hits the fan. Yep. Because that's when we're going to hit the road, and we're going to make the road trip down to Tilbury, and that's when, as I said last night, Tilbury's going to want revenge. We know that. The players on that team do not like the players on our team. The new players on their team are going to be bred to not like the new players on our team. It's going to be intense. That's why my prediction, October 28th, I'm still going the same way I swung last week. I see Tilbury 6, Tilsonburg 3, which would give Tilsonburg a 3-1 record in the first month. But I just don't. I can just picture the want for that revenge is going to fuel Tilbury, and it could get them in trouble. That is true. But if they execute the way they can, they're going to want revenge from that. So from that playoff series. So I'm going to go Tilbury 6, Tilsonburg 3. Leif, what are you feeling for that game?
Going 8-6. Little throwback to the first game I ever went to for Tilbury. They are going to win. Yeah. Possibly see a fight at the end of the game too.
Yeah, Justin Abraham, watch out. He's a big guy.
Exactly.
All right. So either way, I guess the whole point of this is that either way, both of us kind of foresee that potentially being a loss, and
I think so.
It's just one of those situations where, like I said,
we're just both wrong, and it's just 0 for 4.
Exactly. Well, you just never know. If we go 0 for 4, it's not going to be a good look for them as a team because then they're going to be 1-3. So, but anything can happen on any given day in this league.
True.
So I do foresee Tilbury coming out on top, but when we rematch later on the season in Tilsonburg, I think it'll be a different result. But we're going to touch base on that at a future date because that's going to be our plan. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to make a month-long prediction at the beginning of the month.
Right.
At the end of the month, we're going to come back and look at how we did, and also we'll be using tweets from fans, emails about their predictions, and see how they did. And we'll just kind of be comparing that. But as we go week by week, we're still going to touch base deeper on these games. This was just a basic outline of the month. So this idea of how the podcast is going to look prediction-wise is a once-a-month type of idea, just to outline the month ahead and give our predictions. Also give you guys dates and times, things like that, arena names. But yeah, the actual week of the game, we're going to go into full detail. We're going to break down what we know about lineups, stats so far, things like that. So this is just kind of, like I said, this is our first episode. We're learning as we go. So that was our prediction segment. We thank you so much for joining us, listening to the Tilsonburg Thunder Hour podcast. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our fans who are diehard Tilsonburg Thunder fans, and we hope to make more of you guys. We hope to have more people support us as we go. This is just two friends having fun, talking about hockey. And if this is something you're going to enjoy, we're going to be releasing for sure on Apple Podcast and as well on YouTube. So if you're in the car with your friends and you guys are on your way down to a game in Tilbury on October 28th, go ahead, give us a listen. As I said, follow the podcast at Thunder Hour Pod on X.
Or Twitter.
Twitter, as us old folks would know it. And be sure to stay tuned because we're going to have a second hour of this exact episode released on a separate date with an interview with General Manager of the Tilsonburg Thunder, Bill Ryan.
General Manager of Tilsonburg?
The General Manager of the Tilsonburg Thunder, Bill Ryan.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Mike.
Mike is also going to join us live in studio.
Is he not the GM?
Mike is the owner and president of hockey operations. Sorry, I apologize that my friend is not educated on this issue. We may be seeing maybe seeing a solo act next week. Let's switch to this camera.
Wow.
He can produce behind closed doors.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I love
Leif. Got demoted.
Yeah. He might be going down to the minor leagues, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, all joking aside, we're going to have Bill and Mike on our podcast. Later on this week, they're going to be doing an interview section. It's going to be tied into one episode, but this will be released separately. This recording right now is set to release tomorrow in the early morning, so 10, 11, noon, around there, depending on what YouTube wants to do for upload times. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us here on Thunder Hour Podcast. I am Trey Hamilton. I am pleased to be joined alongside, as I said, my partner in crime, Leif Dietrich. We are signing off from Woodstock, Ontario. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you October 7th in Tilsonburg for the first game of the season, and we will touch base for the second half of tonight's show. Thank you, and good night, Tilsonburg and Woodstock.